What's up, everybody? Welcome to the newly named Health and Safety Protocol Show. I'm Mike Gallagher, and this is one of the craziest days I remembered. And it's funny because this time last year, the NBA season was starting today with the late start, and now we're looking at so many 10 days. Joe Johnson is possibly getting minutes. Emmanuel Moody is possibly getting minutes. It's insane, dude. So this is when we shine, fan. This is when you and I are at our best. I'm so pumped to have you on, man. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm just waiting for ETR to someone hits the protocols and you guys have to sign a 10-day to replace myself
Oh
or
no.
you or Dink or somebody. We'll see.
Yeah, well, Mark Dankenbring, one of our projections guys. He's actually positive, so hope everyone's being safe out
Oh
there. All the
man,
best to Dank. Yeah, he's feeling okay, so that's good. But
yeah.
yeah, man, this is crazy. Like we joke about it, but obviously we're gonna do our best and talk about all the fantasy side of this. So best to everybody out there. Take care. But yeah, so we're doing it differently today. We're basically gonna go through every team and talk about rotations and who's gonna play, who's not, and so on. And we don't know. Maybe more guys are going to be out. Like we just saw, we just got a Cavs update with Denzel Valentine being available. Kevin Love questionable, which is huge
Mhm.
for a team that's thin. So yeah, you can see the schedule. We got a 5-game slate now. I was so pumped to break down the Raptors
Yeah.
rotation with some Brandon Goodwin action, but yeah, let's get to it. Let's start off with Orlando and the Hawks, which is probably the most edgy game of today. So yeah, I kind of broke down all the rotations here that I ran by you too. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think on the Magic with rotation and I mean, let me set you up too with Cole Anthony. So I was listening to
Mhm.
Jamal Mosley's pregame presser, and he was talking about like rehab for Cole Anthony and Wendell Carter Jr. being really limited. And then after that they signed Freddie Gillespie and Tim Frazier, which to me, I don't think they're playing today. They're listed as questionable. So what do you think, if any other information there?
Yeah, I would lean that way too. And without those guys, they'll have 10 available. Me and you were talking. I mean, we've been talking all morning about all these rotations about how big of a mess every team is. But I would lean. We were thinking Hassani Gravett or Tim Frazier. Deciding between who starts between those guys, I would lean Gravett just because he has 2 games under his belt as a Magic. Tim Frazier just brought in. He's a vet, but he's kind of new to that team, new to that system. And they also have like a pseudo point guard in that first unit already in Franz Wagner, who they run a lot of the offense through, who's been pretty surprisingly impressive as a distributor, so far in his rookie season. So I will lean Gravett as a starter. I think Gallagher leans Frazier, but I think it's kind of a
Yeah.
toss up. We'll see, who gets to start there, but it should be another huge role for Franz Wagner. 30% usage over the last 2 games without Cole. So he's going to handle a lot of the shot creation and get a ton of shots up. So he's the guy I'm focusing the most on, regardless of
Mhm.
who's in. Robin Lopez has been, Chuma Ukiki actually has been
Mhm.
pretty like solid. He had 4 steals last game, which kind of propped up the
Yeah.
FanDuel points a little bit. But yeah, 45 FanDuel points per game over the last 2 is hard to ignore. And 37 minutes per game is also really hard to ignore. So yeah, he's another guy that's popping.
Yeah, I mean, they're back. Look at that second unit, man.
Oh,
Schofield, PJ Johnson, Limford, just signed Gillespie. Gillespie's pretty good. He had a couple of good games last year. But yeah, Robin Lopez certainly anchoring most of those center minutes. And yeah, I don't think Ford's going to play much. Schofield's not going to play much. PJ Johnson's not going to play much. We'll probably see a little bit of Gravett and Frazier overlap, regardless. So I think Gravett's going to be a decent play. But yeah, Franz Wagner against
yeah.
I guess transitioning here to the Hawks. I'll kind of put this all on the same screen here. Yeah, I wish I had a graphics guy, but
No.
yes.
This is
So
so
with
ridiculous.
the yeah, man, we don't need graphics. You guys, just all about the information. So yeah, a lot of Hawks here, and then man, Lou Williams. You and I were making some jokes about Lou Williams, so everyone's okay, of course.
Yeah.
But now he's out for protocol. So why don't you set the table for the Hawks today?
Yeah, so it's going to be the DeLon Wright show at point guard,
Mhm.
like no matter what. I think backups up in the air between Sharif Cooper and Skylar Mays. I was talking
Mhm.
to Brad Rowland, who knows the team better than pretty much anybody. He was guessing that it'd probably be Skylar Mays, who sees the backup point guard minutes. And
Mhm.
McMillan talked this morning about running a 9-man rotation. So I think it's just going to be either Mays or Cooper as the ninth, as the last one in. And I would lean Mays too, just because Nate
Mhm.
has a track record of leaning towards playing vets. We've seen that repeatedly in the past with Solomon Hill. Like that's his guy. He loves playing the vets over the young guys. So so that's it should be a lot of DeLon Wright. Basically at center, I think it's a question mark. Without Gallinari, it really means that we'll see more Gorgui Dieng than we would expect. I think Collins will play the vast majority of his minutes, if not all of his minutes, at the 4 today, just because they have no depth. They only have Jaylen Johnson behind them, and McMillan's been very hesitant to play him to this point. Jalen's going to play, but yeah, I think Gorgie's going to play more than people think, especially with Onyeka still on a minutes limit here. So I mean, what do you expect in terms of minutes for Gorgie here? Regardless of whether he starts or not.
Yeah, I don't feel as strong about it. I think they're going to run Collins at the center spot a pretty decent bit because they have Bogdan back, and Bogdan was supposed to play in the game that got canceled, so he should be in pretty good shape to play. Not full, but close to 30 minutes. And I think Cam Reddish, they probably want to play more. And there were some quotes from Nate McMillan, which I mean that it just even before like Lou went down, it was so obvious DeLon Wright was the guy. He was like just distraught, and his guys are he said he called his whole team like offensive minded guys. And like you're bringing DeLon Wright, who's not an offensive-minded guy. I mean, he could play a ton of minutes today. And as you said, I'm completely with you that Skylar Mays and Cooper are going to get shut out. Probably, unfortunately, NBA Twitter is going to be sad. There's no Lance Stevenson minutes to put out the blow stuff. But I think that Kongwu's kind of a dicey play. I think Jang is probably going to be overplayed for DFS because just do the math. You're like, oh, this backup's limited. So, and he's not a great permanent producer. So I'd probably gonna be out on Jang if he's gonna get a lot of ownership. And he probably is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would probably guess Onyeka played. So he played 2 5-minute stints in the last game, then played 4 minutes of garbage time for a total of 14 minutes, right? So if he's still on a minutes limit, I would guess his minutes limit is probably like in the 16 to 20 range. In his second game, what do you think?
Yep. We were thinking like range of like probably a little bit tighter. Probably I think probably 15 20 sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we put him at 16, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean Bogdan, Kevin Huerter, and Cam Reddish should see all the minutes they can possibly handle in this one. Cam's been the biggest beneficiary in terms of usage rate differential with Trey, Capella, and Gallinari and DeAndre Hunter off the court, plus 12% usage rate differential. He'll be in that second unit, just dominate usage there. So like the spot a lot for Cam Reddish.
Yeah, I love it. I totally agree. And just to hammer some jokes home, this is going to be. This is good. Oh, I'm kind of like I picked up my own YouTube thing. This is going to be the new outfit for Magic City with Lou Williams in protocols. Jokes aside, but this is the 76ers roster, which is hilarious, and how many guys are on there. Talked about that before.
Yeah, we just got Luka in the protocols. Just had another star in there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Christmas is canceled, man.
I know it's going to be just an absolutely brutal slate.
Unbelievable. I'm so pumped to write matchups for that. So I think we kind of severed it. So Jaylen Johnson's not a play.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll play enough. Maybe like 15 on the very high end, just in terms of his minutes. Trey Burke just in protocols too, just another. Why not? So good spot though for Atlanta, kind of in general. We've talked about this Orlando defense. Like you basically change the time frame, full season, last 2 weeks, last week. Magic are like bottom 5 in half court defense no matter what. So there's a ton of opportunity here still. They have competent rotation players. Actually, they're decimated, but they still have like DeLon, Bogdan, Huerter, Collins, Reddish. They have some guys who can play for sure. So I still think this offense could be plenty productive even without the Trey and Capella and Gallo.
Yeah, I don't have the stats, but last time I wrote the Magic, man, they were like dead last in so many categories defensively. So totally with you. It's going to be Hawks season for sure, especially guys who are getting full minutes like Herter and those guys. The Cavs are messy. This isn't updated, by the way, because I did this pre Denzel Valentine now being available. So this basically changes things. This means to me makes it slightly less likely that they go Rubio Garland, just slightly. I still think they do. But I mean, they're real thin here. Kevin Love's also questionable out of the blue, which, man, I mean, that would be ridiculous. How are you approaching this?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Love's minutes have already been iffy as is. Like, even if you projected him as a starter at center, he hasn't played more than 24 minutes in a game this season. This Q tag that popped up makes me even more, wary of his minutes
Mhm.
upside in this spot, even when they're so thin. Like Luke Cornett, Taco Fall, Kevin Love, or like they're only centers like that can play in that spot. And I still don't think
Mhm.
Love's going to play, upper 20s, 30s in terms of minutes. So I think this should be the Darius Garland and Ricky Rubio show. Ricky Rubio in the past, when he started I think like uh, 5 times this season, and averaged 34.3 minutes per game, 32
Mhm.
FanDuel points per game. So like he's in a great spot where Garland and Rubio should see 36 plus minutes in this when they're that thin. And if you look through their game log, it's really hard to see that minutes upside. But the main
Mhm.
reason is because the Cavs are involved in so many blowouts where these guys don't like realize their minute ceilings. Like 8 of their last 11 games have been blowouts, and the Cavs on the winning side of that. So yeah, I think really good spots for Garland and Rubio. What else you got? In this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. You look at this is kind of that pocket here highlighting on the screen, like right here when we saw that 38, 37s right there. That's when they were like missing
Yeah,
Laurie Markkinen, Mobley for the elbow, all that stuff. So yeah, I agree. Pretty good spot for him. I think he's going to get an okay matchup, probably against Schroeder if he starts. Marcus Smart would get Garland, so it could be a really big spot. Bickerstaff talked about wanting to play them together and play Garland more off ball. So I mean, I think Garland kind of is going to be really good, but Rubio's spot is like so
yes,
good today.
yes,
So totally with you. But yeah, just the front court. I mean, if Love doesn't play, I mean,
yeah.
I guess they'd have to start Jetty at the 3, Laurie, and then Dean Wade at the 5, and then kind of fill that way. Play
Yeah,
Pangos, basically you're putting Valentine in this spot and then kind of take that approach.
Jetty's going to play a ton in that spot, and he's played
Mhm.
big minutes in the past, and it's kind of these similar spots where they've been decimated and they need minutes fillers, so he can easily go like mid upper 30s in terms of minutes
Mhm.
too. So yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think Luke Cornett really is a play, even if the Love is out.
Yeah.
He's been pretty limited just statistically wise. He can put up points and shoot threes, but like not a good rebounder for his size. Like 1 or 2 blocks per 36, nothing really that blows you away. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think I love the spot for Rubio, especially. I think he's,
Yeah.
he's the main guy for me here.
Nice. All right, moving to the Celtics. I can't believe Joe Johnson is on the screen right now. That's where we are. So yeah, we've got a lot of guys out. I'll set you up there. What are you thinking on Boston here? There's really not a lot of. I don't think there's anybody.
Yeah, there's not a ton. It's Robert Williams back, so Enos Freedom back to the bench. We saw, yeah, with Jay Rich out, their wing depth a little thinned out. But Schroeder only played 25 minutes against Philly. I think he's getting pushed a little by Peyton Pritchard, who's been playing better as of late. Really slow start to the season for him. So yeah, I can't really trust Schroeder at this point, just given his minutes volatility. They kind of basically just split like 75 minutes between 3 guys. Like Schroeder got
Mhm.
25, Peyton Pritchard got 25, Langford got 25. So this offense is already like pretty concentrated as is
Mhm.
between Jaylen and Jason Tatum. So not a ton for me. 205 over under last time I checked. So pretty bad game environment overall.
Mhm.
Anybody in particular here in this matchup for Boston that stands out for you?
Yeah, I think both with all these guys being out. I mean, you're talking about you look at the Cavs team. I mean, their defense has been great, but I mean, you're major downgrades there. So
Yeah,
I think both Jaylen Brown, whose minutes cap is basically gone now, I think he's a really good play. I think Tatum's a really good play. Their minutes could be. I mean, look at the backups. I mean, these guys aren't like Joe Johnson's going to be Tatum's backup probably. He's going to play a ton. So yeah, I think all those guys are pretty good plays. Time Lord, and we saw him play really heavy minutes against the Warriors, and actually didn't do much with it. So
yeah.
going against Dean Wade, Taco Fall, and these other guys they're going to throw at him, especially Kevin Love's also a good matchup. So it's a pretty good spot for Time Lord, assuming everything's okay after the personal issue.
Theoretically, like the
Mhm.
minutes have been there. He hasn't quite delivered. He's been pretty hit and miss lately. The usage has been like, lower teens. So you're kind of basically relying on the rebounds and the shot blocking to get you there. But yeah, I mean, especially if Love is out, this team,
Mhm.
like, yeah, this is a completely different Cavs defense without Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah, I was surprised the spread was like somewhat tight, given
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
short-handed
it's
the
like
Cavs are.
6. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we got an easy one. It's funny that like two of the easier ones today are the Rockets and Thunder.
I know,
So
right?
this is the last game before you start betting against the Rockets again because Jalen Green's supposed to be back tomorrow, so the Rockets going to start losing games again. But yeah, pretty straightforward rotation. I will add Christian Wood is expected to play according to Jonathan Fagan from this knee injury that has been bugging him a little bit. He talked about feeling great after the Pistons game. And then also revenge factor, former Buck. He said after the Pistons game that he does have a revenge game feel when he goes against former teams. And I looked; they played DJ Wilson over him when he was with the Bucks. Man, I mean, there's got to be some major hate in his heart right now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting against a Bucks team that's pretty decimated up front too. What do you
Marvin
make out of the
Bagley
Rockets?
play to me, honestly, even with the revenge factor, just a little worried about his minutes and with that knee, and then it's like a 9.5 point spread too. So some blowout risk will get to Milwaukee later, but they have a lot of bodies. Like they're healthier than they've been with in a while. Obviously, Giannis and Bobby Portis still up, but they have guys that can throw out there. Finally.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the Waba gets kind of trimmed down. They really like him for on-ball defense, but Christopher could maybe be able to take both those minutes. That will get him in play. But Eric Gordon, DJ Augustin will be doing most of the ball handling. We know Marnie Brooks plays off ball. Man, they're playing Garrison Matthews a lot of minutes. Even Silas talked about quote killing him with minutes lately too. So we'll see some Şengün. Not expecting Tice to play. You mentioned the Bucks. Probably pretty healthy relative to some other teams. Obviously, no Giannis, no Portis, but other than that, they got most of their guys. My God, shadiness overload over the weekend. Grayson Allen was, quote, under the weather, according to Budenholzer, not an injury report. They held Drew out, and then it's worth noting they have back-to-back. They're in Dallas tomorrow, so I think tomorrow they're going to sit so many guys and just like, hey, stay home. They play Boston on Christmas. Tonight they should probably get full minutes from most of their guys.
Yeah, like I mentioned, they have like 13 bodies, like rotation players that are available today. So like you're expecting Drew Grayson, Middleton, Pat Connaughton, and DeMarcus Cousins to start. Then they have like Rodney Hood, Wes Matthews, Mora, George Hill, Semi Ojeleye, Thanasis, Javonte Smart, and Mamu, right? So they have a lot of bodies to throw out there. I am interested to see how they handle this back to back. Do they handle like their last one where it was a close? I mean, this is a 9.5 point spread, so probably not. Why we saw like Drew and Grayson sit out
and Connaughton.
Yeah, Connaughton played like nominal minutes. But like those guys, they played like heavy minutes the night before in an overtime game. So like it made sense. This one where, maybe they're ahead, 15 points early fourth quarter, and then maybe Bud takes the foot off the gas and limits the starters' minutes in this one and has them play tomorrow. So I'm really interested to see how they handle it just overall in the spot.
Yeah, I just think they just keep guys home and just pulling up the schedule here. They play Houston today, so you can not even travel, and then Christmas for the big game, you're rested and ready to go. You have some family time.
Yeah.
So I think that's as you said, they got a lot of bodies, so they don't necessarily need to have Drew and those guys even travel.
Right.
So I think that's probably planned. So I think they're going to get pretty full minutes today. I mean, they're not playing because they had they haven't played since that game. So like Drew played that back to back on Friday, and he's been off for 5 days, so he should be pretty good. And he's been freaking awesome lately. In a really, 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 really good matchup. The Rockets getting absolutely torched by guards. They have no ball pressure at all.
Yeah. So on our last show, I mentioned like we talked about like the spot when Giannis was out and Bobby Portis was out, and I mentioned like I like Drew in that spot because Middleton with that knee potentially getting his minutes limited given how they handled Giannis with his calf injury. Are you worried at all about Middleton's minutes in the spot, or do you think he's fine?
Little bit. He probably won't have that super high upside, but I think he'll probably have they'll probably want to play him like 31, 32.
Yeah.
If it's not a blowout.
I think that's right.
Yeah. All right. So the Nuggets have JaMychal Green questionable and Aaron Gordon questionable. Aaron Gordon has a left hamstring issues called tightness. This is the same hamstring that he messed up back in the bubble in 2020. Also messed it up in January of 2021. So this is a recurring hamstring. That's bad. He was probably going to sit the last game if it didn't get canceled. So I'm expecting him to sit. And there was a quote from Mike Malone on the radio saying that Vlaco Konkar would be starting. So you would take it from there.
Yeah. We'll see. They've had 4 full days off since their last game, given the postponement. So Aaron Gordon hasn't missed a game yet this season. He was questionable one time, I think, on the 13th of this month with low back pain. He played that game, so he's been pretty durable overall. And given the 4 days off, so I think it's probably 50-50 for me. I don't have a strong lean either way. Like I think your read makes a lot of sense too, given like I guess on Sunday, Tronch, like he was closer to doubtful. It sounded like. So yeah, we'll see how that progresses. If Gordon and Jermichael Green are out again, you got that rotation pulled up, right? Like we're guessing like Tronchar starts just because he said that he would have started him on Sunday, and then do you not see Austin Rivers in the rotation at all?
Oh yeah, that's an oversight on my part.
I think he should.
So he would be.
Yeah,
he would be sliding in on this spot.
Yeah.
And then moving him down. And
Yeah.
he'd probably, so it'd look a little bit like that.
Yeah.
They go pretty small. And I don't think they necessarily would need Corneli. But they play Zeke Naji in that spot. But this kid's a baller. I've watched some of his G League stuff. But Bones Highland also got really talked up. Mike Malone talked about him, or Michael Malone, sorry. Talked about him, being positive impact every time he plays. He had that team personal issue where he got held out. The game that Marcus Howard messed up his knee. So could be bone season, man. In a pretty exciting spot here.
Agreed.
It's the old OKC, so excited for that game. Thunder. So going back to Mark Dagnall's quote, when Aaron Wiggins started, he said it was a spot start. He was going to either go big or use a different guard in the next matchup. That was against Valanciunas, if I had that right. And then today they're going against Jokic. So I think they go big. We do have Mike Maskala resting. So there's a lot of ways that you could play this. I think this is probably the way it goes here. They probably go big. They bring Roby in the mix with Maskala out. Got Baisley. Got Cambridge kind of playing everything. What do you think on? And also Trey Mann's questionable too. So I put in.
I would agree with the rotation that you have up. If Trey Mann's out, then you probably see Aaron Wiggins in that spot, or even Ty Jerome get back on the rotation. Don't think it's a huge deal either way. It's like a smaller role in the teens in terms of minutes. So I think this makes sense in terms of what you have up there. 5.5 point spread, which is relatively close. So should be another spot for a couple SGA buzzer beaters.
Man, that dude loves buzzer beaters. And man, no, if Aaron Gordon doesn't play, Shea could go ham. Because they would put Aaron Gordon on him, and you're talking about downgrading to either probably Monty or Barton from Aaron Gordon for Shea, who's Drive Festival. You put a big body in front of Shea, you could slow him down a little bit, but that taking Aaron Gordon out of the mix, it could be like Shea party time.
Agreed.
Even in kind of a slower matchup. Clippers, pretty healthy besides Hartenstein. I was hoping the Clippers were going to list him as questionable to have a little bit of edge there, but nope, they listed him out because it was kind of a clear hint from Ty Lue that they were going to keep playing Serge Ibaka in his last presser. So pretty straightforward. I will add Reggie Jackson was limping, and he has been on a cap that hasn't been much discussed. It was kind of blowout. His minutes were down. Like I'm not gonna. I bet a ton of like Reggie Jackson unders today, just because I think he's gonna be capped again. But rotation's pretty thin here. What's your take on the Clippers?
Yeah, I agree. Reggie has looked pretty banged up. Like when I've watched him, he doesn't look healthy at all. And something also note is like Paul George took a couple hits, and he had some quotes afterwards that he was still dealing with some of that issue from that elbow. So encouraging at least that he wasn't on the injury report at all. But something to keep an eye on. Like Paul George and Reggie seem to be banged up and not 100% at the moment.
Yeah, not a back-to-back, but, they could just – I mean, if they sit those dudes down today, they're off till when? Sunday? Yeah. So, that's just an opportunity if those guys – like, the Clippers are going to do something. Like, I don't know what it is yet, but, like, there's a lot of edge there, man. Like, there's a lot of edge on Bledsoe. And against the freaking Kings, I haven't looked at prices yet, but I'm going to be having a lineup putting a lot of edge on Clippers, whether it's Reggie or – Paul George. We know that
the Clippers would never late scratch someone that wasn't.
No, that never. What are we at? Like 3? Only 3 this year, I think. Like the Marcus Morris thing once, and then Paul. Yeah, and I love how they listed him with a contusion with an elbow.
I know.
But Kings, another, oh my God, this guy's back in the NBA moment. Emmanuel Mudiay minutes. Is that where we are? We are seeing some stupid amount of playing time from some other guys, namely Halliburton. Halliburton's been ridiculous, like almost 30 drives,
Yeah.
20 potential assists around. He's been just freaking monster. The Warriors ran a box and one against Tyrese Halliburton, just kind of
Yeah.
show you what a focal point he is,
Respect.
man. So, yeah, look, I mean, 44, got 40 minutes. I pulled the box score up from the Warriors game.
Yeah.
40, 40, 37 for Harry B. I mean, Buddy Hield and Halliburton are going to play so much today.
Yeah. On Moody, you have to be really down bad to sign a man
Hmm.
Moody at this point. I think
Yeah,
we've seen so many like 10 days and hardship exception signings over the last couple of days, and I think Moody might be the stone worst of them. He was
dude.
playing in Lithuania with the squad called, I think, Zalgiris, and they were dead last in EuroLeague, and he got like cut. They like mutually parted or whatever, but he was like so bad for them
Oh my.
that they had to move on, and they signed this other guy to replace him. I think they got Zoran Dragic too. Like he's been bad. So for the Kings' sake, I hope they don't have to dig that deep enough to have to play Moutier. It'd be tanking. It'd be it'd be pretty
Yeah.
bad if you get to that point. I think I'd rather play that new guy. Aid Murky or whatever.
Yeah.
They signed. I'd rather play him than Moutier. But yeah, I mean, it's been the Tyrese Halliburton show over the last 2 games, 39 minutes per game, 25% usage, 48 FanDuel points per game. So pretty easy spot for him. Buddy Hield has also seen a really big role, just 39 minutes per game. Like they've been playing some of these guys pretty big
Yeah.
minutes. Halliburton 39, Hield 39, Barnes 38, Metu 34, Tristan 28. Like it's been pretty concentrated among
Mhm.
those starters. So Barnes is interesting. So
Yeah.
obviously Harry B without De'Aaron Fox and Davion Bagley, we would expect him to kind of step up and take on a bigger role. But over the last 3 games, he is sixth on the Kings in usage rate at 17%. So
Mhm.
what are you seeing from Barnes? Do you think he's a kind of a good buy low, or is this
Yeah.
kind of something that we have to worry about with him?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the Kings play really fast, and like the way you beat the Clippers, as we saw with what San Antonio did to them, with DeJounte namely, you play fast on them, and we know they're going to want to play fast. So I think like the dad is going to say this isn't a great spot, but I think it is, especially with the country in a minute. So yeah, I think Harry B's a good opportunity if you do want to fade Halliburton. Maybe he has a bad game, or no, Buddy. Probably not, or two of the three don't play all three of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Harrison Barnes is a really good play, and the minutes are going to be really, really up there. Did get a little bit more time to get right too.
Yeah, I mean this Clippers defense is really strong on the perimeter too. So if,
Hmm.
where you want to attack them is up front or the forward spots generally. So
Yep.
it's yeah, it could be a good get right spot for Harry B potentially.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got ruled out for today while we were breaking this all down. Is that right? Is that
Yeah,
a miracle?
no, you're right. You just
Yeah,
got
just
Luca and Trey Burke and the protocols, and that's
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I asked you before the show, if you could think of a guy who, like this whole Emmanuel Mudiay, Joe Johnson, a player that who do you want to see get signed? And I said Tony Roten. Like you got, like, this is like, how is Tony Roten not signed? That's all I got to say. Process 76ers team, like, come on, man, got to be. Do you have an answer?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go down your lane with the process system. There's so many good memories from that time. Like
Yeah.
your projections for that team. Alexi Shved,
Oh,
RIP.
nice. I considered him too.
BJ Mullins,
Oh,
summer league goat, BJ Mullins.
yep.
He would put up dumb numbers in the summer league and be like, oh, it might be like BJ Mullins, a sleeper in the drafts,
Mhm.
and then just like totally a disaster. Couple of like Isaiah Cannon,
Oh, great one.
another process sixer. Yeah, there's so many. Hollis Thompson was another that played inexplicably so many minutes when they were thin. Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on. Just
Yeah, so
yeah,
good.
I only remember those teams. We were talking like they had good players, right?
Yeah. We were pull it up really quick to get out of here. But like their player, like they had like legit good players now.
Yeah,
Like this team was what not what -10 net rating for the season. And I mean, look at these names: Rocco, Jeremy Grant, Rashawn Holmes, TJ McConnell, Nerlens Noel,
Yep.
Jakar Sampson, the god. Nick Stauskas is possibly back too. He would have been back if not for today. I can't believe that game got canceled. Christian Wood's on that team, and the god Tony Roten. Sonny Weems is a good one too.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we got everything. Yeah. All right. Well, what's how much how ready are you for tonight for all the underdog updates?
Oh, I mean, something's it happens every night. Like there's
Yeah.
gonna be late protocol guys, like guaranteed.
Yeah.
Just have to like do the Jimmy Butler thing and just rip up the projections and then start over again. So yeah, it'll be fun. Can't wait. Just
Yeah.
great time of the year where I have to make rates for guys I've honestly like never heard of before today.
So
It's it's awesome.
Yeah, like the NBA transactions page is just ridiculous. Like I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like it's like honestly, like, you and I are like on it, and like
Yeah,
there's just times I'm like, oh, I missed this.
exactly.
It's hard, but definitely appreciate it. Happy you could come in on Wednesday to fill in for Dink. Nobody else would rather have. So I'll be back later with Andrew Wiggins. Fan Wiggins is coming on with me to break this slate down.
Yeah.
So that should be really fun. So yeah, thank you so much, man. This is the best. And everyone listening, I'll be back later at 5:30 Eastern to break the slate down, talk some DFS prices and plays. So catch you guys then.